Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, My Crypto Teacher. My name is Ida and I am your crypto teacher. Is Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme? Is Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme? Hang tight with me, you all. This is a very serious video. In this video, I'm going to go through some factual information that you just need to think about. Just consider. I am not hating on Bitcoin. I love crypto. I own a lot of different cryptos. I also have owned Bitcoin as well, but we need to know the facts. You all look at YouTubers, you look at influencers, and you want them to give you factual information that helps you to make the correct decisions about your finances. Now, you're going to want to subscribe to my channel. I need 10,000 subscribers at least. I need you all to hear this information first. Let me start here. Let me tell you what a Ponzi scheme is. A Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent scheme that involves paying existing investors in a non-existent enterprise with the funds collected from new investors. Now, all of us, because we did not buy Bitcoin back in 2009, or very few of us bought it in 09, 10, 11, 12. I started buying Bitcoin my first time back in 2019. So we are what they call the new investors. Listen to this entire video. I'm going to give you information from financial experts who have raised the question of if Bitcoin is a Ponzi. A Ponzi is like similar to a pyramid, but you need to know if you have considered investing in Bitcoin or if you have invested in Bitcoin, you've got to listen to this entire video, because if you're investing your money, you need to be equipped with all the information, not just drinking the tea about Bitcoin, not just knowing that the United States is in $31 trillion of debt, not just thinking that we use fiat currency and Bitcoin is going to be the savior. Listen to all the information in this video, and then you make your own decision about what you think Bitcoin is. Now, I know those Bitcoin maxis are going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy out there. They're going to go crazy. Look, I was drinking the orange Kool-Aid at a certain point too. I've probably had about $12,000. I owned a little bit of half of a Bitcoin. I never was a whole Bitcoiner. But you've got influencers who are trying to convince us that Bitcoin is going to save the world. It's going to replace our current financial services and systems. Let me tell you all, it's not. Now, I believe in crypto. I believe in crypto and tokens that have utility. Watch my other videos. You'll see that I talk consistently about utility. So, just listen to all the information, listen to the entire video, and then make your own decision about whether or not Bitcoin is a Ponzi, because you need to know. Okay, so first, before I'll walk you through all the information. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about Bitcoin itself, what it is, and why do people say it is valuable. So here's an article. So while there are many decentralized digital currencies that you can invest in, there's over 15,000 digital currencies. The most popular cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. It currently has a market cap of about $450 billion. Okay. The entire market cap of all of crypto is a little bit over $1 trillion today. Bitcoin came out in 2009. It came out as a result of the collapse of the financial markets in 2008. So just to give you some little background, if you want to read more specifically about Bitcoin, just read the white paper. The white paper is short. It's only about 8 or 10 pages. All right, now let's keep going. This article I'm going to share with you all, it offers an extensive look at how Bitcoin gets its value. That's so important, how it gets its value, and I'm going to focus on who owns the most of Bitcoin. This is going to blow your mind. I did the numbers. I'm telling you, when you see who owns the most of Bitcoin, it's really going to have you question if you should have all of your eggs in this basket. I'm just saying, stay tuned, just stay with me. Now, first, what gives Bitcoin its value? It came out in 09, right? Bitcoin is a form of digital currency that's considered to be an alternative to fiat money. Says who? Just think about it. It's an alternative. Says who? Well, in my opinion, says the people who have become millionaires and billionaires, which is a small percentage of people in the world. They say it's an alternative. Right now, the United States dollar accounts for 56% of the world's reserve currencies in the entire world. So for every 10 countries, 6 of those countries now use the United States dollars as their denominated reserve currency. I'm just saying, that's a lot of power. Do you really think the United States is going to give up 56% of their power to Bitcoin? It's not even enough Bitcoin to go around. Anyway, just stay with me, okay? So who says it's an alternative? I'm just saying. Some people came out the blue and said we're going to now use Bitcoin. I'm just saying. Now, since central banks, this is the rationale behind these people who says it's an alternative. Since central banks control the amount of paper money being printed, naturally, it gives central banks more control over the economy. And they do. They print, which is dangerous to the stability of a country. In comparison, Bitcoin is operated by the decentralized authority on a decentralized network using blockchain technology. Now, hold that thought. I believe wholeheartedly in blockchain technology. That's why I believe in crypto. Blockchain and Bitcoin are two different things. Blockchain, Bitcoin, two different things. All right. That's why it's not regularly used in retail transactions. So digital currencies, just follow me. This is so important. You got to just stay with me. I'm telling you, I'm going to blow your mind. Stay with me. Stay with me. Y'all, I'm going to blow your mind. Okay. Digital currencies like Bitcoin have value because they're able to function as both a unit of exchange, you can exchange them for value, and a store of value like gold. Bitcoin also has 6 core attributes to allow it to be used. So this is what they say. First of all, Bitcoin is scarce, means it's not many. It's only supposed to be about 21 million Bitcoin ever created. They say about 4 million are lost. So about 21 Bitcoin will ever be created. Okay, they say that it's scarce. So what that it's scarce? I'm just saying, the fact that Bitcoin is scarce, so what? It's scarce. All right. Acceptability is another component. Divisibility, you can divide it up. Durability, resistance to counterfeiting, can't counterfeit it, and the portability. Now, the thing I'm going to give Bitcoin and all cryptos is easily portable, okay? All right. Now, who owns most of Bitcoin? Now we're getting ready to get into it. Who owns the most Bitcoin? When Bitcoin was first created in 2009, it had a hard cap of 21 million placed on the amount of Bitcoin that could ever enter circulation. At the moment, circulating Bitcoin supply is about 18.8 million. Limits have been placed on how much Bitcoin can be created each day. That has a lot to do with the halving. You hear a lot about the halving, which means that the remaining Bitcoin will be mined progressively up until about the year 2140 through a process called halving. Now, this is good. This is all good. But what I'm saying is, okay, so Bitcoin is a digital asset that's been created. It is scarce. Okay, that's a good thing. But that doesn't mean it's going to replace fiat money. The United States is dominant, okay? And you got to hear this. If you're looking at buying Bitcoin, if you have bought it, please pay attention. This is probably one of the most important videos you're going to listen to. Don't drink the orange Kool-Aid. Open your mind. Listen up. All right. Bitcoin ownership can be identified by looking at the number of addresses of Bitcoin in circulation. As of today, there are just 3 separate Bitcoin addresses that hold more than 100,000 Bitcoin. So I'm going to, you see this chart down here. This chart actually explains to you exactly who owns Bitcoin, how many Bitcoin they own, and so forth and so on. Now, this is going to blow your mind, I promise you. But before I dig deep into this, let's talk about a Ponzi scheme just real quick. I told you what it is, a fraudulent scheme. And so you're going to be able to make your own decision after getting all the information. So I told you what's a Ponzi scheme. It's a fraudulent investing scam promising high rates of return. Sound familiar? It's going to 100 times. Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 million. It'll be worth $1 trillion. It's going to take over the world. Promising high rates of return. That's what a Ponzi scheme does. With little risk to investors. Well, if you bought Bitcoin at 69,000, that's a lot of risk. Now, let's keep going. A Ponzi scheme generates returns for older investors. Those are the people who got in first. These YouTubers, the Winklevoss twins, all these people, Celsius, all these companies that went under, they got into Bitcoin early. And then they had to make sure we were interested in buying Bitcoin because it increased the price of Bitcoin. It's supply and demand. The more people that became interested in Bitcoin, the more richer they became. Okay, and that I just feel like that's the angle. I really do. The fraudulent investment scheme is premised on using new investors like us to funds to pay the earlier backers. All right, so hold that thought. Now, let's keep going. Let's look here. Example number 1. Have you all heard of this billionaire? His name is Peter Thiel. Let me show y'all what old Peter Thiel did. Pay attention. Peter Thiel, billionaire. Peter Thiel's Founders Fund sold all of his Bitcoin, not half, not 1/2, not 25%. They sold all of their 100% of their Bitcoin in March of 2022, right before the crypto industry had a crash. And here's the biggest deal. He sold it all in March. He was down at the Bitcoin conference in Miami. Pay attention. You got to pay attention. Thiel hyped, quote, Thiel hyped Bitcoin at a crypto conference in Miami in April 2022, a month after selling all of it. At the Bitcoin conference in Miami, he was saying, quote, Bitcoin might increase 100-fold. So he had just sold all of his Bitcoin a month earlier, but now he's down here at the Bitcoin conference with all the Bitcoin maxis, promising and saying that, guess what? I think it's going to increase 100-fold. Okay, example number 1. All right, Peter Thiel sold it all, not half of it. Here's another one, MicroStrategy. And this was big for me when I heard this morning. MicroStrategy is probably one of the biggest Bitcoin promoters. He actually had to leave his company as CEO, and I talked about him in a previous video. He left his company as CEO because he took all of their money from MicroStrategy, all of their reserves, and bought Bitcoin. Well, it's just come out, and we don't know. I'm going to tell you all where you can listen to the audio yourself. He was on audio recorded, and it's his voice. I don't know if it's legit or not. I don't know. But he basically has remorse about buying Bitcoin. He said he should have bought Ethereum. He also said in that audio that he's waiting to break even. He's waiting to break even so he can break out of Bitcoin. I'm just saying, I'm going to tell you. So where did I get that information from? Let me tell you. Altcoin Daily is these twin brothers who do crypto information. Here it is. Insane leaked audio, Michael Saylor. That's him. And he's talking bad about Bitcoin. And basically in that audio, he wants out. He wants out. Why does he want out? He wants out before it collapses. Why do you think it's going to collapse? Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Chase, Jamie Dimon said crypto is a decentralized Ponzi, but he says it's worthless. You can look it up. Just Google right here. Jamie Dimon, Bitcoin is worthless. Bitcoin is worthless. Bitcoin is worthless. How many times can I say it? It's going to end bad. Okay. Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's right-hand man. He said it's like rat poison. Bitcoin is like rat poison. These are people who are financial experts. They know something that we don't know. All right? Here's another one. Now, Jamie Dimon, he likes blockchain. Like me. I like blockchain and I like crypto. I believe in it. I truly, truly believe in it. So it's not, you got Bitcoin, blockchain. Bitcoin, blockchain. They're not the same thing, okay? When we're talking about the crypto itself, not the token or not the network or the blockchain that it runs on, I'm talking about the crypto itself. All right, there you go. Charlie Munger, Jamie Dimon. You got to listen to these people. Warren Buffett. It's, at first I was drinking the Kool-Aid. They just old. They don't know. They know something. Look at all the collapses in the crypto industry, and they all evolved around Bitcoin. I think it's a slow pain. I really do. Also, Peter Thiel was telling people Bitcoin was going to increase by 100 times, and he knew he had sold all of his Bitcoin. I'm just saying. Now, listen to the Altcoin Daily. Check them out. Check these jokers out. Check out the video. You can listen to the voice and then make a decision yourself. All right. Now, let's go ahead, and now we're getting ready to get down to the nitty gritty. Let's take a look at, remember I showed you all that chart, the graph about who owns Bitcoin. Let's take a look at who owns Bitcoin. All right. Okay. So look at the graph. At the top, this is Bitcoin distribution. So follow along with me. So on your left side, you're going to see the balance of Bitcoin. These are wallets. This is how much Bitcoin people hold in their wallet. So stay with me. Now, if you haven't clicked on subscribe now, click on subscribe, and you got to have liked this information. I know you like this information. Click on subscribe. I need at least 10,000 subscribers. So, okay, so here we go. I blocked out this section of the Bitcoin distribution because I fall in this section. Most of us do. So from 0 to 0.001, and then all the way down to 0 to 0.1. So that is if you hold about $0 to $2,400 in your wallet. Let's talk about who those people are and the numbers. So the addresses, one person can have more than one address, but typically one person has one Bitcoin address, typically. Now, so let's look at the numbers. If you take the addresses of everybody that owns 0.0001 to 0.1, that is 36,701,617 people. Now, look at the percent of addresses. That is about 90%. 90% of people own up to about $2,400 of Bitcoin. 90%. That's it. People like us owned most of the Bitcoin. That's who it was. Look at the amount of coins we owned. We owned about 238,668 coins out of 21 million. There's 21 million tokens. We only own 238,000. Who owns millions of tokens? Where are they? They're with the people who want Bitcoin to increase in value. The little guy, the everyday guy, they're telling us that the fiat currency is going to collapse the country, collapse the world. They're telling us that Bitcoin is going to be worth millions of dollars just for one coin. Why? Because they become ultra rich. A few people, a very, 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 very small number of people will be very, 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 very rich if Bitcoin goes up. Okay. So take a look at these numbers. So we can see here, 90% of us only own about Bitcoin worth $10 billion. Right now, the total market cap of Bitcoin is over $400 billion. 90% of people only own 10 billion. Who owns the other $390 billion? Don't you want to know? It's not us. 90% of us only own 10 billion. Let that sink in. 90% of us own $10 billion in Bitcoin. The other people who say it's the saving grace, you know, they use all these fancy terms to try to convince you the economic system, the monetary system is going to collapse. Yes, does it need to change? It does need to change. I agree. The United States alone is a 31 trillion with a T dollars in debt. I totally agree. But guess what? Is it going to happen? We don't know. So let's take and see who owns Bitcoin. Let's see where the Bitcoiners are. So look at these bottom numbers. Only four addresses own 671,000 Bitcoins. They own $28 billion. Four people or companies own 28 billion. How does that help us? How does that help the little guy? Remind me. I'm curious. Let's keep looking up. Look here where you see this 22%. So 22% of the tokens, about 13,000 people, 131,548 addresses own between 10 and 100 Bitcoin. Okay? They own about 185 million. No, 185 million, billion, 185 billion with a B is owned by 131,000 people. So 131,000 people own $185 billion of Bitcoin. Let's look at another number. The people who own or companies between 100 and 1,000 Bitcoin is 13,000 people or company. 13,930 people own $172 billion. 359,170,000. They own 21%. So 13,930 people own 21% of all the Bitcoin. Let that sink in. There are 7 billion people in the world. 13,930 people own 21% of Bitcoin. What that would mean is that 13,000 people would control 1/5 of the wealth of the entire world. And you really think Bitcoin is going to take over? No, it's not. It is not. And these 13,930 people, they need for us to drink the Kool-Aid so that Bitcoin can continue to rise in price. They keep selling us these fancy stories about this. They sound really good and extravagant. I'm not going into it because I don't care. I'm just a simple person who works hard for her money. And I'm trying to capitalize off of crypto and this new technology. I'm just telling you, don't let these people, and this is not financial advice, don't let these people convince you to put all of your hard-earned money into Bitcoin. I don't know if it's a Ponzi or not. I'm just saying, Bitcoin only increases in value when we drink the orange Kool-Aid and we buy more of it. We buy more of it, and guess who gets richer? Look at this. The 2,061 companies or people own between 1,000 and 10,000 Bitcoin. That is 27%. So 2,061 people own 27% of Bitcoin. 27% of the coins. They own 2,061 people have a value of $223 billion, $995,191,125. Let that sink in. Only 2,061 people, they are ultra rich. They own $223 billion $995 million. Who are those people? It's not you or I. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to wrap it up with this in terms of if Bitcoin is a Ponzi. I don't know if it's a Ponzi or not. Here's what I do know. I know that 90% of us own 2% of the total tokens. 90% of us own 2% or less of the Bitcoin tokens. Let it sink in. 90% of us own 2%. So who's getting rich? It's too expensive. We're not going to get rich. We're not going to get rich because how many tokens can you buy? How many crypto can you buy? How many Bitcoin can you buy? Okay? So I'm just saying, this is not financial advice. Don't believe the hype. Protect your money. I always say diversify. Look at my other videos. There's some phenomenal crypto projects out there that have utility. Who says Bitcoin is going to be the store of value? Rich people that bought Bitcoin early. The people who own thousands of Bitcoin. They bought it for cheap. It makes sense that they want us to buy it. So, my name is Ida. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. I'm going to link all this information in the description. What do you think? Do you think Bitcoin is a Ponzi? Tell me, what do you think? Do you think it's a Ponzi? I want to know. I don't think that crypto is a Ponzi, but I think there's some questions around Bitcoin. No one should have all of their eggs in one basket. And you surely shouldn't have it in a basket of a new asset that is unregulated. It's the wild, wild west out here. Protect your money. My name is Ida. I am your crypto teacher. Please look at my other videos. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm out.